What is up? Okay, calm the fuck down. So I'm going to be covering part 2 of the major confrontations in WESTPOCOLYPSE 1895. So hold on to your butts, because what am I doing with my life? Now, without further ado, here's the recap. So, we covered the basics. The asteroid hitting the coasts of Monument Point. Yeah, the microbes coming in, infecting the water supply. Infecting all of Monument Point. It's spreading to the mainland. Yada, 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 yada. Then we ended off at Central City. And the survivors there, long story short, in the Nether Material Productions Factory did not make it. And they never were. And, yeah. But then I said, and let me rewind a bit. At the same time, a little bit later at the same time, Woodington, a town north of Central City along the inlet, also managed to fall. Woodington. So yeah, we're going to be covering what happened during Woodington. Or at least one of the major confrontations that happened there. And if you don't want to hear about that, then piss off my damn video, or else I will eat your skin and peel off your nails with pliers. Okay, I'm going to start now. Okay, let's get serious now. So, a little backstory for Woodington. Pre-apocalypse, of course. Woodington was founded sometime in the 1840s. I forgot what date. I know. I'm such a chud. And it was founded by Centralia to monopolize off the rare dark oak wood, which is a rare resource that only grows in the Kern State region, the Fat Trees region. And in order for, any other rival powers to come and take said resource, Monument Point, they took it really hastily and set up a town there. But this town, let's just say, it's only focused on the collection of those said dark oak logs. And so quality of life in the town is kind of ass. I mean, it's livable, but its growth is just so dang stagnant. The only thing growing is the lumber industry. And most of the wealth just goes back to the main city. Well, anyways, so the events of the apocalypse, while Central City was falling, microbes carried via the ocean waves and infected people from boat. When push comes to shove, man, the parasites just eventually started causing absolute hell on Woodington. And since the town is so minusculely small, everyone just ended up dying and getting infected. So that's that. A group of survivors, it's always a group of survivors, managed to hold up in the church, which is up top of the town on a hill. And they held there for about 3 weeks. But eventually, time comes to shove, they got pushed out by the parasites. And they had to run. And that brings us to our first major confrontation in this area. They were fleeing about eastward, from where the Fat Trees Hills begins to steep down in elevation to the birch groves. And that's when they stumbled upon the McCrotchley farm. Now, the farm was abandoned, obviously, but it was becoming nightfall, so they decided to hunker down here and see if it was safe to venture out further. That's when a thunderstorm hit bad, and parasites just started to come. Now, they couldn't run. Here's why. Number one, it's midnight. Number two, it's a heavy thunderstorm. so you ain't gonna see crap. And number 3, there's freaking parasites surrounding the whole perimeter. So, I mean, unless you're feeling suicidal, don't. But, yeah, so they made the semi-logical, because at the end of the day, well, spoilers, they all die. But at the end of the day, hunkering down in that farmhouse was the best option they had. So that's what they did. The parasites came in small at first. Not a lot, but the more and more they killed, the more and more it came. And let me actually tell you this. The position they were in was so trash. It was able to get overwhelmed in like just a day. Whilst previous to confrontations, Monument Point Town Square, or actually the docks, was able to hold out for 2 days. But to be fair, they had limited time to retreat, or like a schedule or whatever. And then the factory actually held out for about 3 days. But this place, they fought hard, but in the end... Fight so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. So yeah, rest in peace to the remaining town folk from that one Woodington church. F in the comments. Who the fuck is he talking to? Ain't nobody gonna comment on this shit. Anyways, moving on to one of my favorites. This takes place roughly around March, and it occurs in the territory we have not talked about. The grand, glorious, semi-oppressive, imperialist state of Serdansk. Now, Serdansk is like if you combined Russia and Germany together and called it a day. Their empire is a monarchy ruled by an emperor, and they're very prideful of their military. Now, due to Serdansk's geography and where the parasite infection originally spread, Monument Point, since Serdansk is mainly on it's such a vast territory and it's mainly on the east side of the world, they actually had ample time to prepare their nation for the hordes. So long story short, and yet this might be a long story, once Centralia fell to the parasites, and Chesil they also had time to hunker down too, but Chesil is not important, to be honest. I'll cover them in later. No really major confrontation happens there. Anyways, but yeah, since Monument Point and Centralia fell, that only leaves Serdansk as the last standing nation in the world. So they evacuate their towns, even burn some, including Everett under Order 308, and just to slow the infection. And they retreat to their capital city of Solonsk and build a giant wall, which works. So yeah, they're all holed up in the capital city, and they're still functioning. Around March, they send in a contingent of soldiers, numbering about 60 men, to the abandoned position of Fort Lativa, which sits in the Frontera Plains. They arrive there uninterrupted, of course, since there's not a lot of parasites in Serdansk. And yeah, they're only stationed there just for observation duties to see if any parasites are breaching the border. And then, they'll come back in a week and see if it's anything worth reporting to. One day, during a light rain in the middle of the noon, a large parasite horde comes out of the plains and starts sieging the fort, which causes the defenders to have to defend. And to make matters worse, there is no guaranteed rescue this time. Those soldiers are trapped. And to make things even more worse, Serdansk, in the court's hall, the bureaucrats there debate whether to send a wagon to rescue these people in order to risk bringing the infection to the Capitol. But eventually, after a literal freaking 5 days of debate, they send in a wagon on day 6. And unlike most of the stories, the confrontations here, it ends on a good note. And those soldiers get rescued and are sent back to the Capitol. And Fort La Siva is officially abandoned. And yeah. And the death toll for the battle, they came in with 60 men. They ended up having about 14 left. But it was still a victory. Well, that about does it for part 2 of the major confrontations. I'm going to make part 3, which will be the final part, I think. Yeah. And, yeah, see y'all later. Au revoir.